I'm here with Daniel, my client, who recently became a developer, and he's here to share his story and how I helped him in the program in Developer Pro. And this has been a very long journey. And yeah, Daniel, I'm gonna give it to you. Tell me about yourself. Like, what do you do? Like, what's your occupation? Give the details that you can give because
Yeah.
NDAs. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so hey, my name's Daniel. So I'm a UI software engineer working at a well-established company in England. This is I'm 2 months and a half in.
Mhm.
Um, I've got my own product that I'm working on. Tech stack I'm using is React and styled components and a bit of testing as well.
Style components. Okay, that's cool. I was. Did you learn that with me? Yes, you learned that stuff, right?
Very briefly, yeah. But like we've got our own styled components, like the devs build their own styled components and then we
Gotcha,
use them,
gotcha.
which is it's really cool because I'm
So
gonna start
let's start with the beginning,
the
right?
very beginning.
Um, because
Okay.
we have a very long story together, and
Yes.
it's actually really cool to see you here because I mean you've been grinding really hard. You've been a real hustler in the program. You've learned a lot of things. You came a long way,
Yeah.
and let's start with the very beginning. Where were you before you decided to join the program? What was your technical experience? Like, what were you doing before you decided to join Developer Pro?
Yeah. So I had no coding experience really whatsoever. I was doing university. I was doing a design degree, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Hmm.
And in my second year of university, I was introduced to programming
Hmm.
by my teacher.
Hmm.
And I was basically using Figma and Adobe XD in a
Hmm.
discovery module, in a UX module.
Hmm.
And I was like curious, like how, how these things become function. How can we make this actually work properly? And he
Hmm.
was like, well, Dan, you need to learn how to code. I was
Hmm.
like, what's code? He's like, well, it's called programming. I was like, okay, what's programming? He's like, I had no clue.
Uh-huh.
And then the bit that baffled me out that I was so cool was he'd show me like on a browser, he would just open the HTML
Uh-huh.
and then just change some styling
Uh-huh.
and it would change on the screen. I was like, oh my God, this
Uh-huh. With the
this is
with the
so...
with the inspector.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Which is like one of the first things you learn. But I was like, oh, this is so flipping cool.
Uh-huh.
So I got hooked. So I started teaching myself, just doing
Party tricks.
some like ah
Like a party trick. Like, hey bro, look at this. Boom.
Christian, I was so impressed. Yeah. It was like a rabbit out of a hat moment.
No, no, I get you. I
Uh,
get you. I get you.
so on second year, so I was like, okay, I really enjoy this. This is something I'd like to do.
Hmm.
So I started teaching myself, like most people, started doing Udemy courses. I did HTML and CSS. That was actually good. Some Udemy courses can be good. HTML and CSS was a good one because if you go and follow these videos and then you just do everything that it says and then you have the same product as everyone else, it's kind of pointless. But what I did was go away because you saw Christian when I joined, I skipped that very quickly.
Hmm.
Uh, with that course is I would learn, the fundamentals like Flex, Grid, and all of this, but then I'd go away and work on my own project
Hmm.
and building my own stuff basically, and that's where I'd seriously start to learn. Anyway, so
Yeah.
my dissertation teacher, he saw that I was learning how to code, and he was like, "Well, Dan, we've got this project that we're gonna do for the 2023 year,
Hmm.
and we're gonna be building this web application. I can see that you're making progress and you're enjoying it. Would you like to join me?" So I was like, yeah, and that was really cool. That was a good experience working with like UX designers and UI
Hmm.
designers. And I didn't do like loads of JavaScript. Like I really barely touched it, mostly like for like, hamburger menus and stuff like this. It was mostly HTML and CSS, but that gave me a good foundation
Hmm.
to go to the next stage, which is you, Christian,
Hmm.
which is where it was straight into JavaScript. Because you remember I built the Apple website in like a
Let me
day.
ask you this: when you Like actually, we had three calls until you decided to join.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about that? Oh man.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's talk about that, right? So we had three calls together until you decided to join.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, what were you scared about, and like what happened once you joined?
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
at the end, I said, "Bro, just pay
If
the
you,
fucking money and join, and then we'll figure it out after." Because I had to push you because I saw that
yeah,
you are good, but there is something that is like you are looking for, like something
yeah,
perfect or something like that. Can you walk me
yeah.
through
So,
what
so
happened in your
basically, obviously, I wanted to do it at the beginning. I was thinking at the beginning, I'd like to do it without
hmm
someone mentoring me,
hmm
and because I was told by my tutor, like, Dan, you're good enough to get a job without it, maybe, but that would have been a lot longer, and that's why it was good to go for mentorship because it.
it was a lot longer now after you've been through the program, or like when?
No, no, because Christian, I still work with people, and they like legit just finish degrees, and then some of them get hired, and they don't have loads and loads of experience, and I've actually got more experience.
hmm
So some people do it, but they've got other things, other like benefits that they bring to the company. I don't know. So
hmm
it probably could have happened, but I'm happy the way it happened
hmm
because I feel like I learned a lot quicker and I could get into my career path a lot quicker. Another thing is for the people watching is that so I finished university later than expected. So of course I'm at that age where I was like, I just want to get into my career path right now. So of course that's why it really helped.
hmm
But yeah, no, the beginning was I was like skeptical
hmm
because like I was like, I like watching this guy on YouTube. I told you Christian so many times. It was the
He's
same
so
one. It was the
funny,
one where
arrogant, not arrogant, nice,
well,
cute.
just honest, straight to the point. That's what I found was funny. And it was the same video. It was the one about the guy who was like Le Portfolio. He put something
Ah,
and then
yeah, I
he made
remember that
like
guy.
he made the whole page a button.
Yes,
And
yes, I
I
remember
always
that guy.
thought,
I remember him. Yeah, I
yeah.
think
So, but of
selling
course,
burgers now or something. Let's not talk about that. Anyway.
yeah, yeah, that's not the word. But anyway, so like, and I was thinking, oh, this guy's funny and stuff. But then, of course, like, common sense is like you're paying for these things, Christian. It is a business at the end of the day.
hmm
And there are some companies out there that might do you over. So of
hmm
course there was a bit of like feeling like, should I do it? And then I was thinking, okay, I'll wait after university and then see what my progress is like.
hmm
Of course, Christian, this was not my money.
hmm
So I was lucky enough, it was my grandparents who were kind enough to help me out. So of course I had to pitch them the business idea. Yeah.
hmm
So I had to pitch them like, I want to learn this thing. I'm gonna send it to a guy. I've never met him, and I'm gonna learn how to code. So of course you can understand where I was coming from. And
Yes.
I mean I did pitch it in a good way,
Yeah.
which was good, but they were just like they're from a different generation. And
hmm
they were like, so this is online? I was like, yes, it's
What is
online. The mentorship. And
no,
I
yeah.
was like,
And they were like, "What is online?"
well, no, 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 no. They don't say use online stuff, but they were like, so you're sending money, uh-huh, to do something online. I was like, yes. And they're like, what stops you doing finding other ways? And I was like, well, I've done my research. There are other ways, but like this is the best one, and I feel like I will learn the most important things that will excel me to get into the career path I want to as quick as possible. So I gave a whole business pitch to my granddad.
Yeah.
And then in the end, he was like, okay. So that's why, Christian. That that's why. And then when they agreed, I was so happy because then I finished uni and then I
Uh-huh.
was straight away grafting and started working
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
you. So yeah.
So what happened when once you joined the program? Like how quickly did you get a result? Let's say that you were like, "Oh shit, this actually works."
Well,
Remember?
when I built the Apple website in a day, that was a pretty big confidence booster. I'm not gonna lie because yeah, it showed that my HTML knowledge and CSS knowledge was quite proficient. and then
Mhm.
I just went straight to JavaScript. That's when things were like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And
but
and how was learning JavaScript and like the React and the rest of the stuff that is like really hard for most people? Like, how did you find it?
yeah, learning JavaScript, don't get me wrong, that was difficult.
Yeah.
Uh, at the beginning, it started off very simple,
Mhm.
just with like, simple variables and stuff like this. But then it got harder and it got harder, and it was like, yeah, at the beginning it was really exciting. It's like, wow, I can, do event listeners and stuff like this. You click on a button, it displays a drop down. Because let's be honest, Christian, I mean, even at work, I'm creating this, so this is like really important. You
Mhm.
need to know how to do this.
Yep.
But um, after that, you know, learning the array methods, you know, that was quite challenging.
Hmm.
Learning how to do you like when you look at nested JavaScript,
Hmm.
you see functions being called in a function that's returning a function. That was all quite overwhelming at the beginning.
Hmm.
But I still stuck through it.
But how did you find like the guidance, the support, the roadmap of the program, like
Yeah.
the deliverables? Like, how did you find them?
Yeah, no, no, it was really good. The only bits that I didn't like doing, which were good to be fair, Christian, were the algos.
Hmm.
But looking back now, I understand why you did them.
Hmm.
Because it makes you problem solve on the spot,
Hmm.
like legit what I'm doing every day.
Hmm.
Um, so the roadmap was really good. I
Hmm.
do feel the array methods are like not easy, to be
Yep.
honest. It'd be very interesting to ask people I work with. Can you build reduce from scratch?
Hmm.
And can you build flat map with from scratch?
Hmm.
So stuff like that. That was really quite difficult.
Hmm.
But then you go into the JavaScript projects, and that was very good because you start off really like quite simple, but
Hmm.
like a counter app, yeah.
But do you feel like the progress is smooth, or do you feel like you are sometimes thrown into the deep end and you don't have an idea about where to
Definitely
go?
sometimes you're thrown a bit. So when you get to the social media app, that was quite a big step.
Yeah, but you don't feel like do you feel like you are alone? Like how like most people sometimes when
No,
they're thrown into something like that, they're like, oh shit, that's it. Then they quit. Like how did you find
no. Well, I had mates, so we would like if we were stuck on stuff, we'd reach out to one
from the
another and help.
program, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
we'd reach out to one another and help each other out.
Hmm.
Uh, but no, the guidance was always there, and obviously we had like I turned attended like all the calls where we had Christian.
Pretty much,
Uh,
yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
I actually had to kick you out from the program, remember?
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that later because I'm sure they will want to hear this because it's like it's natural. Um, but no, attending all of those calls was good because like I've said it so many times before, but if no one heard, even if you had all your questions answered or whatever, you'd come away learning something new.
Hmm.
Whether it's a new framework that's coming in that's becoming popular, or maybe a new way to write some code, you'd always come away learning something. So
Hmm.
with you, like you were very good because you would help students if they have legit problems,
Hmm.
and you would also help them in a way that like you wouldn't just directly give them the answer.
Hmm.
You'd want them to fight a bit
Hmm.
to see like, I'm not just going to tell you the answer straight away, otherwise you're not going to learn anything from that.
Hmm.
Um, so you'd want them to like prove their worth.
Hmm.
And I think that's the best way to learn because no one's going to handhold you at all, especially like where I work now. I
Hmm.
mean, they made it very clear. They're like, I mean, I had my quarterly review today, Christian,
Hmm. You had it.
and they're very happy,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
is really, yeah. And she was like, Dan, I'm very happy with you. Um, you know, you've made a
You're
lot of
fired.
good progress. You made a very good
You're
impression.
fired.
You know,
Mhm.
no, you made a very good impression, and I realized. So the product I'm working on. I'm working with another front. There's another front end.
Mhm.
So it's two front ends, yeah. And
Mhm.
then you got full stacks, got cloud engineers and stuff like this.
Mhm.
And I understood from this. meeting today that she's like, Dan, you know, soon at some point, this is going to be you're the only front end on this product.
Hmm.
Like, because the trust will be there for
Hmm.
you to do it on your own. So that
Yeah.
was really cool to hear from my boss, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
And it took you
Dan,
only 2 months to get up to speed with this, which is
yeah,
really great to hear.
yeah, no, no, like, yeah, dude, I appreciate. I've told you so many before times,
Yeah, yeah.
Christian, but I do appreciate your help and everything. But she was like, that's one thing we really want people to do here is like learn how to problem solve on the spot. And like, if you need to ask a question, they expect you to like battle the hell out of it,
Hmm.
and then to be like, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and done this, but it's still doing this and this and this, and then they help. No one expect you can't go to someone and be like,
Help me.
how'd you do this? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
because like they literally told me there was a story where
Did,
they got rid of someone because literally he didn't do the work, and
this
I don't
this
know.
is where you know how some people say there is no question that is too stupid. Really?
Yeah.
I can give you a shit ton of examples, and you actually made a good point. No developer, like if you'll ever
No,
work in a company and you just come to them and say, help me.
no.
Like,
I've
you
no,
understand this? Can you tell me about this? Bro, what did you try to learn? Like, people
no.
don't understand how they will actually be thrown into the deep end and they won't, like most people, like you can talk
Mm,
about this because you saw a bunch of LinkedIners and
yeah,
Redditors, talking
yeah,
about their projects and whatnot. Can you,
yeah,
what can you say about the projects that you've built in Developer Pro versus like what these other dudes that are trying to
yeah,
learn
yeah, absolutely. But let me just
apply
finish some.
resources, boot camps, they go to university, like what can you comment
Yeah,
on their approach?
yeah. Well, let me just clarify something just quickly before though. Just so people understand this whole like, if you came to a dev and he says how to do this, the first thing they will literally say to you is, "Well, have you read the ticket?"
Hmm.
That's legit what they will say.
Hmm.
And that's why you can't go through life anyway doing this anyway. It's not just even in programming, but you can't expect people just to like coddle you and like give you all the answers. Which is why I say it because it's related to what you were doing in the meetings when people have problems. Because I didn't really see any students who were like, oh, I don't know what to do here, Christian. And then you're like, okay, let me just take over your computer and let's do it together. I never remember that. I remember people coming in saying like, I did this, I did this, I did this, it's still returning this. And that's really important
Hmm.
because if you're going to go into this program thinking that, you know, you're going to be, your hand's going to be held all the time, that's wrong because
Yeah.
that's just not in life. The projects. Yeah, so definitely, like I said, Christian, you obviously start from beginner stuff, yeah? You start from easier stuff. You
Hmm.
start from a counter app. You can't put that on a project.
Yeah.
You can't you can't put that as like this is my show off piece.
Most
But
people put that in their resume, not the students from
no,
my program,
no,
but a lot of
yeah.
people outside, they
Yeah. But the more complicated they get, of course. So I told you, as soon as you get to the social media app, that is really where I remember I was bashing my head against the wall a bit with that because I was like, oh, this is not easy.
But it's very real world kind of
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
Like we don't mess around with stuff that is like a
No,
game
that
or toys.
that 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 one is really good because you're mapping over objects and you learn that objects can be sometimes really nested, although it's not a good practice to have nested objects. But that was a good practice because you learned how to map through objects and how to get to certain properties and like go down in the layers. So that was really good. But obviously when you get to the crypto app, that's when it gets very exciting
Hmm.
because this is when you're first exposed to React.
Hmm.
And not gonna lie, going from vanilla JS to React is an absolute delight.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you have to know JavaScript before that. Otherwise, you're going to be like, what the hell's going on? The
Hmm.
fact that some people learn React before JavaScript baffles me.
I mean,
Um,
they want to
but
learn, but they didn't learn it.
yeah, well, maybe they think they've learned it.
Yeah.
But the crypto app, that was definitely, I really enjoyed that. And you remember, Christian, I designed it myself. I had fun doing my own design on it. But that one's good because you use TypeScript as well. So using another language, so being exposed to another language, you're learning stuff about interfaces and types. Which in a lot of companies they are using TypeScript. In our company as well, we are using TypeScript. I'm
Mhm.
not working on TypeScript because my product's in React, so that's cool. I'm kind of happy about that, to be honest. Um, but the crypto app is definitely like I remember showing some devs and they were impressed. I showed some people at work and they were impressed. So definitely the apps that you build at Dev Pro are a lot superior. Yeah, that's for
The
real.
thing is, with the apps in Dev Pro, like most people can get with enough patience and with enough digging and whatever,
Mm,
they're smart enough, they can build them. But what about the team project, which is like the creme de la creme, the thing that no
yeah.
other person outside this program has access to? Like, how did you find that in helping you in your career right now, in helping you getting a job and
Yeah.
keep the job as well?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, Christian, it's not gonna be like exactly the same
Yeah,
as
of
like
course.
and like but it's a very, very, very good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that in the team project that is really good that I see today in life is how to work with devs.
Mm-hmm.
Pair programming is so important
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, if you come across bugs, the guy would be like, let's do it together, or you help someone else out. So learning how to work in a team and collaborate and actually come to meetings and be like, I've done this and this and this and this and this, that's really important. So in
Mm-hmm.
the team project, that's really important. Another
So did
thing
you
is,
find like the workflow, like what do I mean by that is like when you came to work, was it something like totally different than what you've done before, or were you feeling like, oh, this is same,
no,
same,
not really.
but different?
The same thing, but on steroids.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. That was kind of my
No,
whole
like
thought with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like don't get me wrong, Christian, it's a really good thing. The one thing that you really learn about uh pipelines, yeah, building features from scratch. This
Hmm.
is really important. Building components, testing components. This is really important. Doing PRs. This
Hmm.
is really important. Code reviews. This is really important. That's all stuff that I do every day.
Hmm.
Um, so that was a really good stepping stone, and
Hmm.
that really did allow me to, in the first few weeks, not feel so much imposter syndrome
Hmm.
because I had imposter syndrome anyway, and I spoke to my boss about it, and she was like, Dan, it's good that you have it. If you don't have it, that's really weird, and I'd be worried. But I didn't have imposter syndrome to the point where it's like, it's like, oh, Dan, we need to create a branch. We need to do this. We need to do this. Can you commit this? Have you used Git? And it's just like, yeah, yeah, I've done this. So that was really good.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Christian. So using like Git, learning your command tools, being comfortable with your terminal, all
Hmm.
of this. When I joined, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, what is this? I've never seen this before. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
You are
that's what
comfortable with it.
huh?
You are comfortable with it.
Yeah. So that's what the team project really helps with.
Hmm.
It breaks down those boundaries that people might think are quite difficult.
Now,
Because
yeah.
I can imagine like I said, there are some people who literally just finish university and they do some stuff, but they're smart kids because they know that they can get trained. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but for them it's good because I come in and I've got not, I haven't got years and years and years and years of experience, but I still have a good foundation. And they
Hmm.
don't have to worry about, oh, we need to tell Dan how to do this. We need to teach Dan how to do this. It just makes so much sense.
Hmm.
Like, it's nice to, like, honestly, Christian, to me, is like what I've learned. And I knew this from the beginning. But anyway, be a nice person, be good at your job. Like, that's what they want. Someone that you can talk to about not related work things sometimes. but also that someone is doing the job and bringing in, bringing in the results. That's it.
Hmm. And like, how is life now that you're a developer? Like, what changed now in your life that you became a developer?
Um, well, the conversations at lunch are becoming a lot more tech related.
No, I'm not talking about that. Like, in terms of like life,
Just like,
lifestyle, like what you want to do with your life. Because people
uh,
are looking to see like, oh, what are they gonna get after becoming a developer? Like, did you
well,
order
don't get me wrong.
Lambo already? Like,
Okay, I got you. Okay,
coming.
okay. Well, don't get me wrong, Christian. Like, yeah, like my hobbies and stuff that I love are
Hmm.
not cheap. I love snowboarding. That's not a cheap thing.
Hmm.
But now I don't have to worry about that. And, I can start putting money aside and saving up for things. I'm doing everything I love. I'm playing tennis every week and having an amazing lifestyle, to be honest, and an amazing next chapter in my life.
Hmm.
Um, I knew that from the beginning that tech is like, I enjoyed it, but I knew that it's very well compensated.
Hmm.
And my job is very well compensated, and it's just, I'm enjoying it, dude. Drinking coffees, going for walks, playing tennis, reading books,
Hmm.
playing music. Like
So
it's very,
overall, you feel like it was a good choice to get into tech,
absolutely.
and it
Yeah.
was worth the grind and the investment that you've made in the program, like being able to do
Yep.
all that stuff. Or
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anything comes for free, but yeah, it was definitely worth it.
hmm.
Like I said, what you taught me, Christian, very much showed in the first few weeks that, okay, I'm happy that Christian taught me this way,
Hmm.
how to problem solve things. I'm happy. Even mentality that I guess you taught me and the other students is like, you were quite strict at times.
Hmm.
And that's good because I remember your attitude was always, Dan, maybe you come across a boss who's worse, and then you would be thinking, oh, actually, they're not bad. So that's why you were like quite strict with
Yeah.
us. But that's the best way,
Hmm.
especially now with like the way tech is going. Just to clarify for people, tech is in demand. If you don't listen to this nonsense. Um, but it's getting more difficult because people are realizing, oh, I need to get into technology.
Hmm.
It's the most important thing to get into. And, some people are being a bit lazy and thinking they can get away with things.
Let me
And
stop you there. You are lying. No, bro. I don't think people are getting a bit lazy. I think people are fucking lazy.
okay, okay.
Like, let's be honest. Like,
Okay, fine, fine. People are, I mean, but that's like Christian, in what way? Like there's loads of ways people are becoming lazy.
I can even look at myself. I spend 2 hours watching reels and
Yeah.
Daniel memes, that I sent to you.
You
So like,
said
if I am lazy, who is pretty productive in a way,
pretty
then I
much
don't even
nice
want
start,
to
yeah.
think about, a person that has a full-time job, like a dude
Yeah.
like me that is in his 30s, he's working some factory job or some waiter
Yeah.
job, and they are like their body is destroyed and wants to get into tech. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, they don't really even have a chance without. I don't want to even pitch my program, but they don't even have a chance without a guy like me that will guide them and get them straight. Like, if
Well, I
you're,
think it,
if someone is in their
yeah.
30s, they have responsibilities and stuff like that. They don't have time and they cannot afford to learn for free from YouTube, from ChatGPT, from Udemy.
Yep.
From this shit. They need someone like me ASAP to get things done.
Yeah. But it's also Christian, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've got some devs on my team who are in their 30s
Hmm.
and but they had the resilience to do it. And that's the bit. Like the main like you've said it before and we know it, the main reason people give up is the main reason people stop coding is because they just feel like, oh, I'm hitting a bottleneck, I'm not making any progress,
Hmm.
and give up. Whereas when you have a mentor, they give you feedback, they can tell you how to improve and how to become a better engineer. Like
Hmm.
that's the whole point. Like and like I said, I had to take a break, didn't I? You said like, Dan, I'm banning you from the course. And I had to take a break because I completely burnt out.
Hmm.
And I had an interesting call with Basil, and he was like, "Dude, you need to chill out. Like, this is the way it is. Like, this is your career. You can't be rushing your career." And he was absolutely correct.
This guy
It's
Basil, like he's fucking smart, you know. He's like
yeah, he's a
very
good
he's wise. Basil is an ex-student, by the way. You can also watch his
yeah,
testimonial. He's a very wise dude for such a young dude, I think. He's like
yeah.
26.
He's a good mate to have.
He's 26, no?
I think he's a bit older than me, but he's a good mate to have. And but also Christian, it's mad, but like I'll get to that stage as well. Like
Mhm.
I'm learning more and more and becoming quicker and quicker and quicker. And I talked to my boss today about progression already because I'm like, I know I'm not super close to this position, but I want to be striving for this position.
Mhm.
And they were just like, Dan, this is great.
Yeah.
We want someone who's striving to do better and not to just sit
And this is
around.
something that most people don't have. Like they like if you wanna make money,
Hmm.
like this might be surprising for a lot of people, but you actually need to be good at what you're doing.
Not just that, Christian, you also need to not compare yourself because, okay, I'm not going to give super much detail, but basically, there's a position I want to get to,
Hmm.
and I've seen some devs get there quicker, and I've seen some devs in the company get there slower.
Hmm.
And I was told by the wise ones that don't compare yourself, Dan,
Hmm.
because just because someone has been working longer does not mean that they're necessarily better.
Hmm.
And that is very, very true.
Exactly.
So you need to be constantly striving, but also putting in the effort because they were honestly like, Dan, if you're a dev and you're coming in every day, because I come in the office every day because I enjoy it anyway, Christian, it's a lovely office. But if you're coming in every day and working hard and making progress and taking more responsibility and building features from scratch and doing this and this and this, and then there's another dev who's been here for 2 years but is like mediocre and doesn't care, of course we're going to prefer someone who's working hard.
You know,
It
like
doesn't.
what like the best hack for that to figure out what you
Yeah.
have to do is ask yourself what should I do to not get the promotion? And you do the opposite of that. You know what I mean?
I mean, what should I do not to get the promotion?
Yes. And then you do the opposite of that. And that's how you get the promotion.
I think so, but I think there's more, Christian. I think there's more comes into it. Like, but what I'm saying is like I learned even as an engineer now not to compare myself. In the same way like Basil got up very quickly, I also want to be. I mean, dude, I want to be lead.
Mhm.
You know, that's a aspiration of
I think
mine.
Basil got to like, I don't know, six figures, I think, after 2 years
He got to he did really well, but I'm talking about Christian like
in terms of like
he
leadership.
stayed, maybe I'm wrong, but he stayed as an engineer.
Hmm.
I already like the idea of being head of engineers
I
and helping engineers. But obviously, this is in the future, Christian. But
hmm.
what I'm saying is about in this quarterly chat up we had, they were really happy that I had this mentality. They were like, Dan, this is exactly what we want. We don't want someone to just sit and do the job. So that's what I'm saying, Christian, is they're not going to get away doing anything if they're just sitting and just doing the job. You have to be doing more. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
especially in tech, because you need to be constantly adapting to new technologies. You need to be constantly brushing up on your skills, getting better at your skills, because otherwise you become stagnant and then you don't make any progress. And then you start doubting yourself. And then you start thinking, oh, I'll get lazy. I'll just doing this. I don't want to go up. I don't want to go up. And then it's just bad.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for those people, like they need to, who are watching, they need to constantly, like every day, be improving on themselves. But you can only do that if you know that you're doing the right thing. And how do you know if you're doing the right thing? Get someone to tell you or tell you that you're not doing the right thing.
That's my feedback. And okay, bro. One last question.
Yeah, go on.
And no, two more questions. This one
Okay.
is, can you give a range of the amount of cash you're making because people are interested? So you're in the UK, so this is very important for people to know because this is
Yes.
an important uh,
Yeah.
aspect.
Okay. So Before tax, yeah.
Yes.
Uh, and before tax, I'm earning 40 to 50.
Okay, cool.
And this is like it's not a junior position, but it is an entry position.
Hmm.
Like
And
it doesn't have
if I'm
title
not
junior,
mistaken, a junior developer in the UK on average is like 24,000. Yes?
maybe 28.
28. Okay. So close to
Mm,
almost double, but not there. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
yeah,
Pretty good
it is.
return of investment from the program.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. My grandparents, they're very happy for me, but
To give
they
me
were
a
just
shout out.
they were just happy. They were just like Daniel said he was gonna go and do it, and he went and did it, and
Mhm.
he's got it.
Great.
So yeah.
And the last question, bro. Uh,
hmm
would you recommend this program to someone else?
It's not for everyone. Like I said, Christian, we've said this before. This is not for people who think this is gonna be super quick.
Mhm.
Uh, this is for people who
What?
obviously
Hell no.
this is going to be for some people who seriously understand that this is the career path they want to go into. This
Mhm.
is not going to be like a quick scheme. This is not going to be like a, oh, I want to go into program, but then maybe next year I'll quit. No, I mean, you also can't be dealing with people like that, Christian. You can't be dealing with indecisive people. This is for people who 100% know what they want to do, and they're just like, okay, I want to go into front end. Yeah,
Mhm.
so they've also done research in what type of programming because programming is such a vague term. So if they say, "Oh, I just want to do code," well, what do you mean code? Do you want to do PHP? Do you want to do jQuery? Do you want to do what? So no, this is for people who want to go into front end, yeah, because they actually find that interesting. Because that's obviously what you specialize in, Christian. And this is for people who have a good balance, or if they don't have a good balance, they know that they're gonna have to make some sacrifices to do well.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're gonna have to put a lot of time away. Because this is your career. This is serious. You have to be. I mean, I made a lot of sacrifices when I was learning how to code. So, this is for those people. So, if you want to do well, go into a career that is going to be in demand, which it is, and it's going even more. It's only becoming bigger in demand, for goodness sake.
Mhm.
Um, and want to change in your life. Got to graft, got to be resilient, got to be strict with yourself. Hit Christian up.
Yep. Right there. I'm listening.
Pretty much.
Good. Good. All right, bro. Thank you very much for this interview. Now, if you are interested in being part of the mentorship, there is a link in the description. Click it, apply, and we'll see if we can work together. That's it. Cheers. Boom. Okay, let me end this, bro.